Not we are so back, no, this is so over. Because how are you going to deal with a 20 versus 50 eco when the enemy has already spotted you're sneaky? Well, the answer is just walk your scalpers onto land. Did someone say sneak attack? Because it is a back and forth game on faultline between, in the red, Stuart98 with a green engineer commander and a rover factory, using fencer as the blueprint, versus in the blue, Hedkeaf, someone I haven't really seen all that much lately. Engineer commander as well, but a hover platform for them. Blueprint is just a dagger. Nothing special there. Not going to get anything special either, it seems. So unlikely to really see them use it. Whereas, well, Stuart, we've seen them use it in the past. And especially something like Fencer is a very nice unit to push with your commander. Great combination between those. Already a little bit of a difference. Stuart going for all of the reclaim first. And there is a lot of it. 360, 450, about like 400, about the same in energy. So like 350 metal is the most important one, of course. Whereas, well, on this side, Hedkeaf not really going for it. It is far away from your spawn location on this map. But of course, well, you can build a second mason. And this one will pay itself off twice over relatively quickly. And it can, of course, still build more eco for you. Matchup between dart and dagger is also a little bit weird in the rover v hover matchup. Because a dart is very cheap. I mean, it's only half the cost of a dagger. Yet it takes 2 shots before it goes down. Not exactly a worthwhile target to heal up. But it already synergizes well with Scorcher. And then you combine the fact that, well, as long as you engage with them in a line, they don't match up poorly against daggers either. Yeah, that is a bit of a difficult one for the hover player. For now, just going purely dagger spam, which is also really, really scary. Pierce through on them, good speed as well. But this is also a shame. I mean, it's not the recommended tactic from the wiki for a reason. For no reason, yeah, because base defense is very good against hovers, especially dagger, because it doesn't have DPS. It has alpha damage, it has pierce through, but not really any DPS. Like 39 DPS? Yeah, 39 DPS. One of those dagger darts, which is like half the price, 32 damage, DPS of 32 as well. Close to the same DPS, while being a, well, I wanted to say scout because before dagger was called a raider. These days it's a scout, so that doesn't really match up anymore. But yeah, half the cost, yet almost the same DPS. Range is a bit better on dagger though. Over here, couple of scorches, couple of daggers, or darts, moving in, slowing down the Lotus. Still though, with the Scorcher at max range pretty much, no real DPS on it, not even taking down one of those hovercraft, and losing quite a lot of forces against just a single Lotus. Still, Stuart lost their early expansion from that Mason going down. Hedkeaf was a little bit more careful in that expansion, not really going for all that many constructors and all that. For now, it has paid off. Stuart only 86% attrition. Already losing quite a bit of value over here. Should all be reclaimed though. I mean, especially early on, 100 more metal is quite significant. And the dagger ball is starting to roll. Nice thing about daggers is, of course, on faultline at least, you can just go around the back. An area which is usually not that well protected. And for a lot of players, well, it's also in a radar shadow. And look at what Stuart has as their radar. Absolutely bloody nothing. They've got their commander and nothing else. So they are completely blind to any backline attacks. Over here, Quill, just moving forwards. Really should be going here. Should be going here in order to get the reclaim, get the maxes, and alright, Hedkeaf deciding to actually use their constructor. Boom. That is the nice thing about Dagger. Did they get hit? No, I don't think they got hit at all. High alpha damage, 1100 burst, and quite fast as well. So can retreat depending on the unit they're facing. But like, yeah, 11 of them, that is one-shotting, or like 1100 burst, one-shotting Ripper. Of course, Ripper still outranges, so it doesn't really work out that well. But still, might just barely snipe the Mason, and can then just retreat into the water where the Ripper can't get them. Also because they're faster than the Ripper. All of a sudden, well, hold on, that is good AoE on the Ripper, and most of the daggers are suddenly gone. Do clean up at least another little max, and will now indeed retreat. Middle of the map, oh, nicely done there, Ripper. Taking down a one mace. I mean, it's not a good trade, losing a Ripper and a Scorcher there, but still, one mace can do a lot of damage. You don't really want that roaming around in your eco and all that. And over here, damage Scorchers against the defensive line of Lotus, with a couple of daggers as well. Not really something that, well, Stuart can easily push into. At least not with the units they have right there. They can try to go around, as you can see them try right now. But yeah, Eco getting cleaned up. Over here, daggers not really able to engage. And oh, who's the sneaky now? The answer is Stuart. Stuart is the sneaky. Because what is the amazing radar from Hedkeaf? That's right, they also know barely anything. This here, this entire area, is still in radar shadow. This small section they can see. But stay close to the shore, of course. Use amphbots, stay underwater, and all of a sudden, yeah, Hedkeaf is also not prepared for any snipes. However, they are prepared, very prepared, for amphbots. Well, how do you counter amphbots? Well, it's simple. You use the anti-water tower. Yeah, but amphbots can go on land, so build it on land, of course. Flawless logic there. I mean, I know it's just a misclick, right? Just misinput. A little bit of a... That, like a XC versus a CX. Reversing your hotkeys, and all of a sudden you're building an urchin in your base. I mean, it's fine. Couple of daggers. Are they going to run for their lives? Not really. And scallop. Alrighty-ho. Scallop, scallop, scallop. Scallop. Lobster. Alright. 4 scallops, 1 lobster. Going for the ultimate sneaky. They're like, let me just throw him into your base sneaky. So you really don't have any time to prepare. I mean, it makes sense. It is a very good tactic. But also, 46 eco from Hedkeaf. No overdrive, no reclaim. But they do access. But yeah, 40 versus like 36. 48 versus 36. Stuart is behind a lot in terms of the Rico. Army, yeah, doesn't look too good either for Stuart right now. Ripper getting cleaned up by the thing they're supposed to counter. Goodbye to the next Ripper. Couple of fences are still left, but not that many. Stuart really needs to do some work with those scallops, because they're completely overrun in front. You've got a couple of fences, but when they move, they cannot shoot. So daggers can quite easily take advantage of that. Not really happening right now, but still. Also, but still, look at the eco. Hedkeaf, you are the Exodus. You play like me. I mean, total eco gap when we look at metal used, still ahead for Hedkeaf by like over 1,000. But that gap should have been so much bigger. Like 3,000 rather than a little over 1,000. So yeah, Hedkeaf, you are wasting a lot of metal. Over here, Stuart still doing what they wanted to do early game. Reclaim and then go into a fusion or a geothermal. On the other side, well, Hedkeaf is skipping the geothermal because of the Lotus and just expanding that overdrive grid immediately. Nice little push over here from Stuart though. They have no right to make that push work. They don't. But the daggers are in the back of, well, in the water again. They're just sitting around being ducks or something like that. But no. Commander, but green, goes into the red and is now dead. Lotus also going to get cleaned up. There it goes. So now, well, Hedkeaf can safely build that geothermal. However, look at the radar. Oh, they spotted it. Oh no, Stuart, it's so over. I mean, it is so over. Not this is so, we are so back. No, this is so over. Because how are you going to deal with a 20 versus 50 eco when the enemy is already spotted? You're sneaky. Well, the answer is just walk your scalpers onto land. It's not what they're supposed to do. You were supposed to throw them in. But soon, very soon, the base from Hedkeaf will be without a factory. 1, 2, 3 and 4 scallops still alive. Everything else is dead. Lobster even is still alive. Yeah, that means that you can still throw those scallops and get amazing shots off on those daggers. You need to though. Maybe just defend this area. Make sure the enemy is not getting the reclaim. They are taking a lot of units back. Once again, daggers engaging against the unit that is supposedly countering them. Yeah, supposedly a riot is counter to a raider or scout. And I mean, yeah, they do still survive. It's a good trade anyways. But yeah, daggers are trying. Thing is, 1200 HP, very good. Going down, but still taking a lot of daggers with it. Suddenly, army doesn't look that good for Hedkeaf. Couple of raiding scallops, outranging the daggers by quite a lot. Still alive, one of them at least. Oh, I do not agree with the fact that Stuart has ran away from this location. Like, you sniped 2, 3 more maxes, but you could be denying, or at least slowing down this eco, this reclaim by quite a lot. I mean, I do realize there is a maze over there, so scallops would have been cleaned up by the maze otherwise, so it also doesn't really work out that well if Stuart does decide to stay there. But this is going to be a lot of reclaim. 750 more, 1300 more there, and then of course another 500-ish there. But look at all of those Lotus. The insane defense spam from Hedkeaf. Something they are kinda known for. Defensive value of over 3000. Most of which can just be walked around. The only effective defensive value they have over here is like 2 stingers. Still 900, still, well, quite expensive. And the mace are, oh, not all going down. But yeah, this is the only real location that you need defenses for. This is like another 700. And another 350. With this included, you get another 200. Yeah, a lot of defensive value that is just sitting idle. Like, these 4 loaders are at least effective. They're still protecting the caretakers and all that. But yes, Stuart definitely still has a chance, even though the eco is still not looking good for them. They are trying to reclaim, though by now, yeah, Hedkeaf has still reclaimed a lot more. Or at least should have access to a lot more reclaim. Cutting off in this entire field pretty much. Still having all of this under control. And a couple of darts, yes, quite strong against dagger, as I said before. But mace is pure DPS. 326 on each mace. So not nearly as good against, or like a lot better against darts than daggers. Couple of Ravagers, assaults, so we'll be breaking through at least some of the defenses. We'll be cleaning up another 3 maxes over here. Oh, this is going to hurt as well. Quill are not exactly known for their high HP. But, okay. The Ripper is not able to clean all of them up. Okay. By now, Stuart, 40 eco, also not spending it. Come on now, Stuart. Alright, you are building your caretakers. That's very good. Stuart's geothermal is up. Should give them some nice little overdrive. And over here, yeah, that is something that is not designed to fight darts. Scallop, but yeah, the darts just run into the enemy mace. All of a sudden, well, goodbye darts. Not here anymore. Oh, mace, 60, 50 HP left. But does survive, at least for now. There it goes. Alright. And now the matchup of the ages. Well, yeah. Daggers with, as I said, amazing DPS, of course, against high HP targets. Still, high HP targets that don't hit daggers at all, pretty much. So they will all still be cleaned up. Just, it takes quite a long time. Hedkeaf with the same strat Stuart used on the other side, Lotus on the high ground, and all of a sudden that geothermal from Stuart is no more. Owl is out, so all of a sudden they should have very nice radar range, knowing everything Stuart has going on. And Stuart is overrunning this position, sure, but they're not really gaining anything by doing so. Attrition is pretty good, I would assume, and indeed it is. But it's not really what they should be taking down. Taking down this, like 1500 value in Quill, we include all of these, 2000 metal in Quill, seems a little bit more valuable since there is still like 3000 metal. That should all get reclaimed by Hedkeaf. So destroying all of the build power they need to actually reclaim is very nice. Still, Stuart building up, at least on the northern side, getting a little bit more reclaim themselves. Does not have awful eco. Not good though. Still behind in eco compared to what Hedkeaf has. Commander, probably fast enough to actually get into the water. Well, doesn't even really need to. With all of those Ravagers getting disarmed. But still a smart idea to do that. And you know what they can also do? Spam a couple of daggers. Right in the water. Where Stuart doesn't really know about it. Defenses? Yeah, they've got 2 Lotus. Maybe 3 if you count that one. But nothing to defend this max. Nothing yet to defend these. And even 2 Lotus can get overwhelmed by daggers quite easily. You just need quite a couple of daggers. Over here, yeah, all of those Ravagers, they were disarmed. But the mace are slow. So hey, there they go. Going to take down a couple of caretakers. But realistically, there isn't a whole lot for those caretakers to do. Airplane Factory is not actively in use, so you can't really assist building there. There isn't that much reclaim over there. By now there is actually. With, well, all of those Ravagers being 100 each. And there you go. Straight for the head. Can you take down another hover platform? Stingers have pretty good DPS, but not I'm fighting assaults DPS. I mean, assaults are supposed to fight base defenses. And there comes, well, an amazing Thunderbird again. With all of those mace in front as well. Yeah, Hedkeaf definitely had this game in the bag. So much more eco that their value was never actually under any threat. The sneak attacks were a little bit disappointing, but we had a couple of nice ones with the daggers and those scallops, even though they weren't lobbed in.